Welcome back to the Pittsburgh Sports Saviors. It's a Steelers post game. The Steelers climbed to 3-0 after a 20-10 victory over the Chargers at home. Lee, how you feeling? How was that game for you? What you want to talk about to start this off?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I said they would start off 3-0 so far, and they're 3-0 so far. They got 6 more games to go, 9-0 to start. I think it's still going to happen. They're looking really good. Just watching that second half of the game, they just look fantastic. That defense is just looking elite right now, and we definitely got some help in that game. But the Steelers came to play against the Chargers today, and I'm happy that we got another Steeler victory, starting off 3-0. I did say they'd start 3-0, so that's what it is right now. So we'll see how it goes as they continue on with the rest of the schedule in the season.
Yeah, on our season prediction and on our weekly prediction, I had the Chargers winning this game. I was wrong. It was a little bit of a slow start for the offense, but after that, you can't complain too much about what you saw out there. They ended up getting 20 points by the end of the game. The defense, once again, you wrote out the defense. The defense, once again, in the second half. Yeah. I know at one point the Chargers were at negative 5 yards for the second half. That was late into the fourth quarter. I don't know what they ended up with in the second half. I don't know if you checked to see it all either, but it was it was an impressive game. Let me check the last couple of drives to see if they did anything extra there at the end. I don't think so. Negative 14 yards on the last drive. So, yeah, they most likely finished with negative yards in that second half of the game. So, what a very impressive performance by the defense in the second half. Once again, here are their drives in the second half. -5, -4, 23, -14.
Wow.
Pure dominance by our defense lately.
Yeah.
I don't know what else more we can say about the defense, but what are your thoughts on those stats? And
definitely they contained the Chargers there in that second half, and were able to hold them to, to the 10 points that they had for that game, and it just they came to play. The defense came to play. They've been doing this so far for the first 3 weeks, holding the teams down low yards and things like that. And it's looking pretty good. I think there was a point where I saw a stat that the Chargers were second in the league going into week 2 with yards per game. And, Steelers held them to only 61 yards. So, it was a pretty impressive defensive game for sure.
Yeah, for the Charger fans that are out there, they're going to have 2 caveats. The first one would be Joey Bosa going down with an injury early, which pretty much made them there was a definite turn up on the offense for the Steelers once he was out of the game. And then the second one, of course, is Herbert gets injured in the second half, early in the second half. So that could play a part in how the Steelers were able to completely dominate. Tyler Heinicke got sacked 3 times. Herbert got sacked twice. So there was 5 total sacks by the Steelers defense. Heinicke was only 2 for 2 for 24 yards, and he played a majority of that second half. So just an impressive performance again for the Steelers defense, like we've been saying. As you can see on the scroll on the bottom, Nick Herbig, 2 sacks, Watt a sack, Hayward a sack, Roberts a sack. So 5 total there. Justin Fields, best game of the year so far. I think can't complain too much about. There's little things obviously that you can always complain about. I shouldn't say you can't complain, but 25 of 32, 245, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That interception wasn't a great ball, but it wasn't a ball that you're going to see get intercepted a lot. Tipped in the air, almost got caught by another player on the Steelers, but didn't happen that way. What are your thoughts on Fields?
Yeah, he looked pretty decent. He definitely looked like he.
You're a madhouse.
Yeah, it's
you're at a madhouse.
Yeah, it's getting a little crazy. A bunch of dogs having a good old time, I guess. But he definitely looked like he gained some confidence in this game and was able to, put on a little bit of a good performance and having some good passes during this game. It looked pretty good. He looked pretty good, and just like I said, I think he gained a lot of confidence in this third game to where he feels maybe a little more comfortable, running this offense. And, barring however things are going to go with Russell Wilson, we'll probably see another start by him next week as well. And but yeah, he looked pretty good. I'm excited to see what else he can do for us.
Yeah, I mean, he threw the ball over the middle well, I thought, throughout the game. That's where the big play for him was a 55-yard pass to Calvin Austin, where Calvin did a lot of the work, but it was still a nice little throw right over the middle. Led him perfectly, let him get on the run and score. 55 yards, like I said. Calvin Austin ends up with probably the best game of his career, I would think. 4 catches, 95 yards, 1 touchdown, including that 55-yarder. But even without that 55-yarder, you're looking at some big plays, 3 for 40. So it's not bad either from him. 3 for 40 from Calvin Austin coming into the game would be something you'd expect, and you get that extra bonus cherry on top touchdown for 55 yards from him. Only 5 targets. He made the most of all those targets. Pickens ends up 5 of 57. Freiermuth 4 for 33. So here's your 3 guys that did much of the damage on the passing game. Running wise, we had Harris 18 for 70. That's 3.9 per carry. Not the greatest, but he definitely down the stretch there. He pretty much ended the game for us. Him and Cordero Patterson. Cordero Patterson 4 for 33. He had a bunch of nice runs there at the end too. Warren still trying to get back into it. 3 for 5. It's 1.7 per carry. So the offense is coming along. There's been talk. What's the phrase they've been using about the offense? I don't know if you can recall that. They've been talking about how it's just waiting to burst. Everything's waiting to the floodgates to open, I think is what they were using. It might be something else, something along those lines. But I don't think they bursted open yet. But they did some good things here this week.
Yeah, it seems to slowly be coming into some type of development. And I think Arthur Smith is putting out some nice plays. We're definitely seeing a different, Steelers offense than we were seeing last season. Again, we want to see higher points, and more yards. And I think this was one of those games where we got to see a little bit of that. So I'm just, hoping that they can, kind of boost that offense up a little bit as things go on. Real quick, we have a special little guest that wants to ask a question. Kimmy Wojo.
Why? This is the 3rd week that Russell Wilson has been dressed. Why is he dressed if he's not playing?
Because you can have an emergency situation where your top 2 quarterbacks go down, and he's good enough to play a little bit, but he's not healthy enough to play as a starter to risk. There you go. Nice to see you.
They're talking about he's injured, so that's why he's not starting. But he's been dressed.
Maybe there's what do you think's going on? Is there a conspiracy behind what's going on with Russell Wilson? Is there anything to read into the fact he hasn't played yet?
No, I don't. I'm just asking because he's been dressed every game since the first game. He's been dressed on the sidelines.
Part of it is because he's Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson's just an a-hole. He likes to dress up in his full gear, even if he's not playing. He's the type of guy who goes and pretends to do touchdown plays in the on the field before games and at halftime. So he's just having fun out there. Yeah. But I mean, he might be getting Wally pipped here. 3 straight starts for Fields. He's getting better pretty much every week, and it's hard to bench him right after this game, right here, Ridley.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's Justin Fields is looking talented, and I mean, we'll just have to see what happens as things progress through the rest of the week. But I don't know. I think it's, he may be this. I think he's going to probably be the starter this week. Again, barring however what Russell Wilson feels with his injury and just how things have been progressing with Justin Fields during the week. I think, through these first 3 weeks, I think he's going to be the starter this coming week. Yeah,
it's going to be fun to see Tomlin field the questions. I'm sure there's going to be some fun ones. Maybe not the post game. I'm sure we'll get 1 or 2 this post game. Obviously, he's going to say we have to look at the tape or something along those lines. I have not watched it yet. We will be watching it a little bit. Yeah, it's about a 6-minute thing. But I guarantee Tuesday a lot of talk's going to be about what you're going to do between Russell and Justin Fields. He'll try to push it off as far as you can, but sooner or later you're not going to be able to push this thing off anymore.
No, for sure. Do you have anything else you want to ask? That was Kimmy Wojo, everyone.
Kim Wojcicki.
Thank you for joining, Kimmy. You're the best. You want me to run through some stats? I got some.
Yeah, give us the stats, Lee. I'm going to put you on the big screen.
All right, sounds good. So again, final score. Final score was Steelers 20, Chargers 10. Total yards. Steelers had 346 total yards to the Chargers 168. Steelers pass yards. Steelers 232 to the Chargers 107. Rush yards. Steelers 114 to the Chargers 61. Yards per play. Steelers had 5.3 yards per play to the Chargers 3.7 yards per play. First down. Steelers 20 versus the Chargers 10. Third down efficiency. Steelers look pretty good. 7 for 14, so 50%. To the Chargers 3 for 11. Fourth down efficiency, none of the teams went for it on fourth. Total plays, Steelers had 65 total yards to the Chargers 45. The Steelers allowed 2 sacks, and the Chargers allowed 5 sacks. Steelers punted the ball 3 times, Chargers 7 times. Penalty yards, this is something we've been talking about for the past couple weeks, and then, going into last season as well. Steelers did really well this game. 3 for 15, which was just phenomenal. That's something that we've been discussing. Only 3 for 15, which isn't bad. To the Chargers, 7 for 69.
I thought you'd be way more hyped than you are right here. You're being too. This was your stat, Lee. This was your stat.
Yeah, I know. It's a big game.
Deal.
I'm gonna get hyped if they can continue this. It's only one game right now. I can't get too excited because if they let me down next week, I'm what was the point of getting hyped for this game? So there was only one turnover, which was an interception that Justin Fields threw, but again, it was kind of tipped. We talked about that earlier. And time possession, again, Steelers 33 minutes and 51 seconds to the Chargers 26 minutes and 9 seconds. Sorry, 26 minutes and 9 seconds. So, yes, the Steelers did very well with the penalties and the penalty yards this week. Again, it's not this one, one of the big topics we've been talking about. Definitely a better performing offensive game. And the defense holding, the Chargers to only 168 total yards, under 200 yards. So, which is great. The points per game been, about 10 and under, for these first 3 weeks. So the defense has definitely been doing their thing. And, it's nice to see the Steelers hit 20 points. But yeah, I mean, they did better on third down this week, and they did very well on the penalty. So, I will get hyped, Jim. If they can do this next week and the following week, I will get real hyped. So let's see if they can continue this trend with these keeping the low penalty and the low penalty yards going forward.
Yeah, penalty thing was nice. Looking at everything, I think the big thing is the floodgates may not have opened, but we're looking like a real offense, especially in that second half. There was movement. But just going through the game summary, the game started off with 4 straight 3-and-outs. Between the two teams.
Wow.
And the Chargers, that last drive, that last 3-and-out for the Steelers got me a little scared, a little worried because it was a shaky drive. Now, then the Chargers come out. The next drive, they get a touchdown on 5 plays, 59 yards.
Mm-hmm.
That ended in a touchdown by Quentin Johnson on a pass where he was left wide open. It looked like Joey Porter Jr. tried to jump a route, and he got Herbert was able to see that and find the open man. But the Steelers come back in a 13-play, 70-yard drive of their own, which ended with a touchdown run by Fields, correct? Yeah, left guard for 5 yards. So we had a 7-7 score as the half was ending, but the Chargers got a field goal, make it 10-7 on their next drive, went 12 plays, 60 yards. Steelers punted on 3 plays, got a stop from the Chargers. They start to drive the ball down. 5 seconds left. They try a 62-yard field goal with Boswell, his first miss of the year. So at halftime, we're looking at 10-7. What were your thoughts at half? What were you thinking?
Yeah, I was starting to think that it was going to be a defensive game, low scoring at that point, just because it was 10-7. I think it was a nice attempt by Boswell. If he would have made it, he had the leg. It just went the wrong direction. But I thought that it was going to be a low scoring game, but I still thought that the Steelers could pull it off in the second half because just as we've been seeing in these couple first halves, they've been kind of slow offensively and defensively, and the defense has seemed to be a second half team so far from what we've seen with the as the season's gone on. So I was still feeling pretty good that we could have pulled off a victory as going into halftime.
So the Steelers get the ball at half. They come out and go 12 plays, 50 yards. Drive stalls, but they get a field goal from Boswell to make it 10-10. Next drive for the Chargers, 3 plays, -5 yards, as we were talking about before. And Herbert gets sacked on 2nd and 10. Herbert causes a fumble there. Next play is a incomplete pass from Herbert, which led to a punt. Steelers get the ball back. First play of that drive, though, starts with an interception, that tip ball we talked about. Still 10-10 there. But once again, the Steelers defense shows up. First play of that drive, 1st and 10 at the Chargers 34. Herbert gets sacked, -9 yards by Roberts. Next play is a run. Herbert looks a little wobbly on that play on the handoff to Dobbins. Next play is another run to Dobbins. But from that point on, we do not see Herbert again for the rest of this game here. At that point, I think that was a big game changer. 10-10. Herbert wasn't playing like amazing. I think he ended up with like 150 yards passing, a little less than that, I think. But him going out of the game from that point on, I felt fairly comfortable Steelers going to be able to win this game.
Yeah, for sure. And like we said earlier, we got a little bit of help with that with injuries, hoping, for a speedy recovery for both Joey Bosa and
Justin Herbert.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And, but they did, it definitely helped our team, able to pull off a victory that kind of boosted our chances of winning that game. But like you said, the defense showed up in that second half and, they had a couple drives where they went negative yards for the Chargers. And I think they stepped up and made the plays that needed to be made. And then, we had some good plays on offense that helped us, pull off a victory, get us to 20 points to have that 20-10 win.
So then Steelers get a 12-play, 73-yard drive, take 6.5 minutes off the clock. They get a field goal, make it 13-10. Next drive for the Chargers, 6 plays, 23 yards. I think Heineke had 2 completions on that drive there for his only completions of the game. They ended up having a punt. Steelers get the ball back. 5 plays, 84 yards, score within 2 minutes and 43 seconds. Great play by Calvin Austin III. Touchdown pass, 55 yards over the middle. And at that point for me, the game was over. It didn't matter what was going to happen next. I thought there's no way the Chargers were going to score again. And that turned out to be the case. Chargers went 3 plays, -14 yards, and had to punt. Steelers got the ball back and held it for the last 5 minutes, just like you want to do. They call it the 4-minute drill. The Steelers did a 5-minute drill to end that game. Very impressive by the defense, very solid by the offense. Chargers came in this game 2-0. They look like a really good team. Jim Harbaugh is a great coach, and it didn't matter. All those things, Steelers were able to pull the victory out, and it's 3-0 now.
Yeah,
the division is looking fun. Browns lost today to the New York Giants to fall to 1-2. Bengals play tomorrow night. They're already 0-2. Ravens playing right now. They're 0-2 as well. So coming out of this weekend, you're going to be at least 2 games ahead of every team in the division. So Steelers are in a great spot right now.
Yeah, they are. They're looking pretty good. And, hopefully as this first half of this season goes for them with how their schedule's going, they can continue on a good trajectory to where they at least have, a couple or few games over the division team. So that way, when it comes time to those division games, they at least have some type of lead in the division to where they can maybe even pull off some wins as the second half of the season goes on. So, again, a good win here by the Steelers, hoping that we could see some more losses by some of our other division teams to kind of keep us a lead, ahead of the other teams in our division. So we'll just see how the rest of these games go for this week and tomorrow.
Yeah, I hear you there. Let's head over to Mike Tomlin, his post-game presser here, and see if we can find some interesting comments from him.
Yep.
We talked about it all week. We knew we were in for a fight. Styles make fights. They're assembled like we're assembled, and so we knew it was going to be an entertaining game. They're playing great defense. We're playing great defense. We had to challenge our defense to outperform theirs. I thought they did. We got a commitment to the run game. Obviously, they came in with the league's leading rusher and the number one offense, and our offense had to outrush theirs, and we did. And that's why the game unfolded the way that it did. And so I'm just appreciative of the efforts of the guys. It was a fight, though, man. These guys are obviously well coached and a talented group. It didn't happen instantly. We had to stay in it. But that's life and definitely life in the NFL. I just like our general demeanor throughout. It wasn't fluid the whole way. But I didn't feel any blink or anybody running away from the challenge. I just felt guys leaning in on the challenge. And obviously, we're going to have to reproduce that as we move forward. It's good to be 3-0 as we sit here. Obviously, we sustained some injuries and so forth prior to the game and in game. But that's ball in life as well. We spend less time worrying about the unfortunates that got hurt and like to spend our time focusing on those that get an opportunity to elevate and contribute. Sucks for Alex Highsmith, excited for Herbig, for example. And none of us are surprised with the quality of work that he gave us.
I'm going to pause it there real quick. First off, this first comment, that is something you probably mentioned it in your the yardage for the rushing, but J.K. Dobbins coming in today, 266 yards through 2 games. He was held to 15 carries, 44 yards by the defense. Yeah. So that's just another sign that this defense has been awesome, the way that they have played so far. And then that second point that he made there, was that a little pot shot at Russell about we got to care about who's playing and who's in there? Or is that it simply a comment about Highsmith and Herbig? What do you think?
It might have been, just he's like he said, it sucks, but the next man steps up and is doing his thing. So it could have been a little jab, a little subliminal message there, but I think that, like you said, the defense has been showing up these first couple games, especially in the second halves of all these games, and they definitely held the league's leading rusher right now to only 45 yards. And like you said, it shows how the defense is really playing in these games. And, like I said, just going through some of these stats, just how they only held the Chargers to only 168 total yards, 107 pass yards, and 61 rush yards. So, it just they're really doing their thing. And, we'll have to see, with his little comment that he just made, we'll just have to see how things progress with all of that. It was good to see Nate Herbig, come in there and make some plays. It does suck for Alex Highsmith that, he's hurt and all that. But, it might be a little jab at Russ. We'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm. I did the same thing, but it's Nick. Nate is the lineman.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Nick, sorry.
I did. I almost I had to correct myself too earlier, but it looks like Tomlin's about to read some kind of let's see what it is. Maybe it's injuries. Maybe it's something else.
A lot of others. Corey Trice had a hamstring. Alex Highsmith had a groin. Jaylen Warren wasn't able to finish there late in the second half. I pulled him from the game. It just didn't look like he was running smoothly. We'll evaluate him. Van Jefferson was able to go back in the latter portions of the game. He got poked in the eye. His vision cleared up. He went back to participation. We got some other bumps and bruises associated with play. We'll analyze that, and I'll give you a full report on Tuesday. But just as I sit here today, I'm thankful for the efforts of the men. I'm thankful to be 3-0. It's good to be in good contests like this, man. Good on good, 5-star matchups, if you will, and come out on the other side. There's growth in it. And we better learn the lessons and keep stepping because we got challenges that await us. Questions?
Any thoughts on the Tomlinisms there to end up, or the injuries that he mentioned? Highsmith, a big one, I think, there. And it seems for Warren, it's been a lost start to the season for him. Rough preseason, and looks like he's injured again here now.
Yeah, and hoping for a speedy recovery for all the guys that are injured on the team, and from the list that he gave from that happened today and up until, so hopefully we can get the full strength soon. But kudos to all the guys that have that came in and stepped up to fill the roles of the players that are injured to be able to step up and make the plays that need to be played to help us get to 3-0 right now. So. But Tomlin's just being Tomlin, saying what he says. He's just being who he is. And speaking facts. That's all it is.
Yep. Here's some questions here.
To run the ball, had a hard time for 3 or so quarters, but then when you had to at the end, you did. How satisfying was it to just keep at it and keep doing it?
You know, they could say the same thing. But as I mentioned, styles make fights, and that's how these two teams and defenses are built. And so we didn't expect it to be easy sledding at any juncture, but we wanted to continue to pound the rock and hopefully break through, and it felt like we did there in the latter portions of the game.
Candles for the way the defense played in the second half.
They just wanted to be the best defense on the field. They respond to those things and take those challenges very personally, and they played like it.
Also, with the rejuvenated running game, did it encourage you that and the defense that they spend less time on the field, thereby helping them kind of get through some situations?
I don't know that our defense worries about that. They got no control over when or how they take the field. They got all the control on how they get off the field. That's the life we live. I think it was reflected when we turned that ball over, right? When that ball got tipped up in the air and intercepted, you saw the spirit in which our defense took the field. So we're not looking for comfort. We're not looking to hide on the sideline. We'll get ourselves off the field.
He's not giving these media guys anything. The first two questions, shooting them both down. But I mean, he's making good points, and that's you want to have that kind of confidence and swagger in your defense and in your running game and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Tomlin being Tomlin, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's Tomlin being Tomlin for sure.
One turnover on the tip ball, as you mentioned, but overall, how is he adjusted to playing the style that complements the way you play?
I'm sorry, who are you referring to?
Fields, the one turnover on the tip ball, but overall, how is he adjusted to his style?
He's doing an awesome job doing what we're asking him to do, playing to win, and so that's appreciated.
Mike, you only addressed 4 receivers. Can you speak of the contributions of that group, especially from Austin?
Yeah. Patterson is dual purpose as well, and so he played some wide out and running back today, and that gives us flexibility. It's the same thing that Leal gives us. Leal's capable of playing outside linebacker and D-line. We value position flexibility. It allows us to make decisions to strengthen other areas. We went with 4 wide outs. We carried an extra D lineman today because we knew we were in for a run game fight. I'm appreciative of their efforts, but I'm not surprised by it. Guys like Scotty Miller are always ready to answer the call. They might not have the big names or resumes, but they've made plays consistently throughout team development. And the guys in the locker room depend on them and expect them to deliver.
Yeah, that is one thing I do recall seeing Cordero Patterson out there at receiver, and that's something no one's talked about. But obviously, he was a receiver when he started his career. But he seemed to be in Atlanta purely a running back. But it is nice to see him get some flexibility to go back out wide, I think.
Yeah, for sure. And it's, like you said, it's great to have some of these players that we do have on the team that can, step up and fill other positions that they have that dual purpose, like he talked about, and able to, just come in and make the plays that need to be played, that need to be made when somebody goes down, and they're able to step up and come in to do it. And he's just real confident and real, he's letting these media guys know, like, hey, like, I don't have any issues with my guys right now. They're doing what they need to do. He's not really, like you said, he's not giving them much. He's just like, look, this is who we are. This is how this team is going to be. This is who our identity is. I made sure that the standard is a standard for these guys, and this is how it's going to be. And, we're doing what we need to do to win ball games right now. And that's all that matters.
Yeah. When it's winning and it's working, it's nice to have these veterans that, but I mean, it's still, when you're in a shootout at some point you're going to need to score some points.
Yeah.
It is going to be scary when you have just the receiving core they have right now. I don't want to get all rose-colored glasses on everything.
Yeah, for sure.
They're like he said, Scotty Miller's a nice veteran, but he's never been a guy that teams have relied on. Van Jefferson's been a guy who started throughout the league, but he's never been a big production guy. Cordero Patterson has had his times both as a running back and as a receiver, punt returner, and all that. But it's nice right now. It's nice at 3-0, but I'm not going to settle for that in general. I still think it'll be nice to see what Roman Wilson can do when he comes back. It'll be nice to get Pickens more involved as the games go on and everything like that. Freiermuth, obviously, too. But right now, 3-0, everything's we can be happy for now.
Yeah,
I think.
for sure, for sure.
I wasn't a surprise that Nick kind of stepped up today. How much growth has he shown through training camp and through the first couple games of the regular season?
You know, this guy wants to be great, but he's looking at the recipe every day of his life too. You know, he just does, man. He's sharp enough to follow guys at his position that are doing it at a high level, who've been doing it longer than him, and I think that positions him more than anything to produce what it is you're looking at.
I think he's getting more comfortable with each passing game.
I'll let him speak to that, but he does from my perspective.
And along the same veins there, you called him a steady Eddie. Just what have you seen from him in the way that he's grown throughout these 3 weeks?
I'd be making something up. You know, growth through 3 weeks is a stretch. We're doing what we have to do to win.
What's your thoughts? You spoke about.
What are your thoughts there with Fields? I'm going to pull up some Fields convo later too. He talked with the media, his post games. We're going to go through that a little bit too. But what are your thoughts right there on Tomlin's critique of Fields through the first 3 games, especially today?
Yeah, I mean, like he said, you know, it's been some growth and stuff like that, and we are seeing, you know, how he is improving a little bit. You know, again, it seemed like he might have had some nerves in that first week. Maybe coming into that second week, still a little bit of nerves, but he definitely got some confidence, as I talked about earlier, you know, that it seemed like this win maybe boosted a little bit of his confidence. He looked pretty good in this game. And, you know, we're not saying that he is up there and, you know, top 10, but I you know, he definitely has a lot of more room for improvement, you know, get some more passing yards out there, make some more plays. Again, this is his first turnover that he's had so far in the season. And, you know, I mean, it did get tipped and things like that. It wasn't like it was thrown blatantly to a defender. But there's definitely room for improvement. Like Tomlin said, I mean, he's just, you know, he's happy to see his growth and things like that. And, you know, there's no, you know, he has no need to say anything else. He, you know, he'll let his players talk for themselves, and he doesn't want to talk for them. So,
yeah, I've used Fields' 38 starts against him. There's 40 games in total he's played in against him a little bit when people try to the idea of him being a young guy and growth. But I mean, it is still the case. And in those 38 games, a lot can be broken. A lot of confidence, especially, can be broken when you're playing on a team like the Chicago, where they had their struggles a lot throughout his starts there. And it's been a little mess. Now you see what's going on with Caleb Williams there, who's also had a real tough time with them. And they've added some weapons too. They've added DJ Moore. They've added – that was with Fields last year, I guess. But then this year, wow, what can I think? Through the receiver for the Chargers.
Yeah, I can't think of it. Is it Williams the last name, I think? I thought it was Mike. I don't know if it's Mike.
Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen is who I was thinking of. Yeah. So they have got some weapons for Chicago there, but still they have line issues. You can just see the way that Caleb Williams, people were calling Caleb Williams generational, and he's looking pretty bad so far with that team. So that gives you some more hope for Fields that maybe playing in an offense where he's not relied on to do much. He's not the center focus of this a whole thing anymore. That's a good thing for him there. And there's positives for sure for what he's played lately. So there's a little bit more Tomlin, about half a minute left.
The fight, and even with your defense, and your thoughts on just how they responded to Dobbins and Edwards and co.
We better respond that way. You know, there's a nakedness in this business at this level. There's nowhere to hide. When you got a challenge like that walking in your venue, you better fight. We're the number one rusher and rushing team coming into our building. And so let's be real clear. They got to fight. They don't have a choice.
Anyone else?
How do you think Broderick Jones responded to getting back in to replace Troy?
As I mentioned, at the early portions of the week, I expected him to respond positively and appropriately, and he did.
I was a little worried at some point early on in the game. There were a couple plays I was like, oh, no. But he did settle down. There was no the fact we didn't hear his name is a big positive. No penalties that I can recall from him. Maybe he did get one of those procedural penalties, and I'm just forgetting about it, but I don't think he had anything there. But overall, it seemed like he had a much more solid game than he's had to start the year, and especially now that we know Fautanu is going to be out for a while. Probably it's looking like maybe the whole entire season. It's good to see that Jones is able to have a solid game here against a team that has some good pass rushing, even though one of their guys was out for most of the game in the second half.
Yeah, for sure. Like we said, it's nice to see that some of these players are able to step up and fill the shoes, not even just shoes, just the roles and the positions that need to be filled as the games are going on. And like Mike Tomlin said, you got to fight. It got to happen. When you got somebody coming into your venue, like he said, and ready to try to show you out, you got to stand up, and that's what the defense did. They showed out and let the leading rusher through 3 weeks know, like, hey, or 2 weeks or whatever, and coming into week 3, like, hey, you may be good right now, but you're not going to be beating us. So, they had to show up, and they did. So he made sure that that's what happened with the defense.
I was gonna skip over TJ, but I got about 4 minutes of TJ Watt. Do you want to hear any of him today, or do you want?
We can. Yeah, we can.
Fields. Okay, let's go to TJ then first, and then we'll move over to Fields.
All right.
This is TJ post game. Pull it up here. Here we go.
Never. I wish that was me. I'm happy for him. A kid that asked all the right questions, and I'm not surprised by the performance. He went out there today and played with a lot of swag and confidence.
TJ, now I was in Atlanta. A couple of my colleagues from here said, I said, what do you fear about TJ Watt the most? He said, he may not be the greatest guy, but he always makes plays when they need him. And so I was thinking today, how does it feel like? Is that a weight on you sometimes that people expect you to kind of rescue the defense when it's needed?
Oh, no. And I mean, it's just going out and playing football and trusting in all of my film study and my instincts and my abilities to prepare throughout the week and get my body right to go out and prepare and make plays for my defense. We have so many guys on this defense that are capable of making plays, taking games over, and I'm just trying to be a small part of it.
Their style of play on offense and the challenges that it presents, how do you feel that you responded to that as a defense?
Good. Obviously, stopping the run. I don't have the stats up here, but it didn't seem like they ran for a lot. We're able to shut them down in the second half. Obviously, the backup quarterback went in, and when it gets to one-dimensional spots, we have so much depth on this defense in the back end and up front that we feel very confident with our pass rush and the guys in the back end to make some big plays when we need it.
Yeah, so the first part to that first question I thought was pretty cool. Good question from the guy there. But yeah, all game long, TJ Watt's getting chipped. Finally, the Chargers decide, hey, we're not going to chip him on this play. Boom, he runs right past all, gets the sack. Great play by him there. Just what are your thoughts on that first part? And then if you want to talk about the running game again, you can go ahead and do that if you want.
Yeah, I mean, he, like he said, he goes out there, he does what he needs to do, and he's playing football, and he's doing what he can, and he knows when his play is coming up that he can go and make a play when something's not happening, and he did what he needed to do when the time came, and when he got that free play, he made it count, and he got a sack that he needed, and I feel like if he wasn't getting chipped all game, he might have had, 3 or 4 sacks. Who knows, But, a lot of these, these other teams, they see when he comes in. I mean, they know how great of a player he is, and they got to try to do what they can. But, he's still going to show out and do his thing. So, he knows when his play comes in to be able to make that play and do his thing. And, I mean, like he said, the defense has a lot of depth, to the point where they were able to make plays and that they needed to make. And like I said, holding them to only 61 rush yards, I mean, it's just been phenomenal to see what this defense can do through 3 weeks so far, and holding the teams to 10 points and under so far right now. So I'll be curious, just to kind of see where they're ranked as the season goes on. I know it's still a little early to kind of get some ranking and things like that, but I think they're probably going to be at least top 10, if not top 5, as the season goes on for this defense.
And I think they could, because of the way they're going to be playing offense, they have a chance to get some gets pretty special when it comes to scoring defense. I think they have an opportunity to keep a lot of these teams to scores that are lower than a lot of the other teams in the league, because we're not going to have as many possessions. Like the second half here, I think each team had like 3 or 4 possessions in total. So if the Steelers offense can run the offense they would like, and they can control this ball, it's going to get interesting, especially with the way some of these offenses that we're going to be playing that we expected to be a little better so far. They've been pretty offense around the league has been bad. So the idea that the Steelers team might have a chance to have like a scoring defense that's up there with some of the historically great teams of the past. That's a little bit of a bold prediction for me there, but I think it's a possibility if everyone stays healthy, the way they've been playing so far, and the way that they'll be countering the offense, who's probably going to be running the ball a lot. I think it's something to look into, and maybe a good prediction for the future.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be interesting to see how they kind of play out, as the season goes on. But I definitely agree. I think they can, make some history, as they go on with the season. So, hopefully they all stay healthy, and we can see some magic by this defense.
I'm going to jump ahead to Fields though here and give him some time.
Yeah,
he played well today, and I think he needs some recognition here.
Yeah.
On offense, how big of a moment was it to get that scoring drive right after the Chargers had scored their first one in the first half?
Yeah, it was huge. I think the offense, we did a great job responding, and we knew what kind of game it was going to be. So just proud of the guys out there for responding like we did, especially after they scored that first touchdown, like you said, and going down and putting the drive together. So it was good.
On that touchdown to Calvin, what were you looking for there? Can you talk about what happened and just, of course, how big that play was?
Yeah, of course, huge play. They were just in zone quarters, and you really just, high-lowing that, hook defender. The hook defender took GP underneath, and, Calvin was right behind him. So, great play call in that situation. Of course, you always appreciate the yards after the catch that Calvin got us, and, of course, it was a huge play for us.
Bigger picture, can you speak to what Calvin and Scotty Miller brought to the offense?
Yeah, those guys definitely stepped up today. Calvin doing everything on offense and special teams as well, and then Scotty too. I don't think he played last week, so just coming in, he had a big third down conversion for us, broken tackle with some yards. So they both played great today.
Said that you guys threw some exotic. They were going to throw some exotic blitzes at you guys, and you guys were prepared for some of those strikes over the middle. You had the third down conversion and the touchdown. How does it feel to execute something like you guys planned it out, saw it, and you got those big plays?
Yeah, it feels great executing. We were preparing for it all week on certain looks we would get in certain situations, and like you said, we did a great job executing it. O-line did a great job today, and holding up, and receivers just being at the right time at the right place. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a huge theme last year, was throwing the ball over the middle of the field, and the fact that the Steelers didn't do it. They did it a good bit today that I thought enough to make a note of it in my mind that they were throwing the ball over the middle.
Yeah.
Got that 55-yard catch on a ball over the middle. It was nice to see, and it seemed like it was coming on a lot of the blitzes like they were talking about there.
Yeah, and the O-line is definitely, it's been nice to kind of see how they've been holding up and being able to pick up some of these schemes that the Chargers were throwing at us. And I think with the new offensive coordinator we have and the different playbook that we have, it's nice to see how the offense has been opening up to different plays and being able to spread the ball around the field. And it's nice to see them throw the ball over the middle. Something like you said, we didn't see last season as much. But I think Justin Fields definitely made some great throws, and the receivers, caught the ball that, needed to be thrown to them and made the plays that needed, made plays as they were catching the ball and getting, the nice yards after catch. So it was nice to see, just a little bit of an open playbook today, and to see more, different plays and things like that from this offense.
Yeah, once again, the floodgates didn't open up, but maybe there's some linkage coming through now, at least. That something to look forward to going ahead in the next couple of weeks.
You heard all week that the dam was about to break on the offense.
Dam was about to break.
Sort of scoring that touchdown, but is this what it looks like when that dam is in the process of breaking?
Yeah, it is, and I think we could have scored one more touchdown if I didn't throw that interception. So, like we said, we're just going to keep working and keep getting better and keep improving.
What did you see on that interception?
Yeah, he just smashed the stick route way too fast, and I just shouldn't have thrown the ball. Got tipped, but at the end of the day, either should have worked the other side of the field, thrown it to the flat because they were so soft, or just throw the ball away, especially when we were already in field goal range at the 40-yard line. That can't happen. That can't happen against us. Yeah.
The fucking dam's about to break, not the floodgates. I could not think of what they've been using all week. Obviously now, that was the theme of the week, was the dam breaking. So,
yeah.
I don't got much out. Let's see what else is going on in this game. Gosh.
I feel like you're proving your detractors wrong. Detractor from Chicago days.
I'm not really worried about that. I'm more so into proving, myself, right. I know, what kind of player I am. I haven't changed kind of my whole life. So at the end of the day, my teammates helped me be great. So shout out to them. Shout out to our defense. Shout out to everybody else on the offense for pushing me each and every day at practice. And, it's just a credit to them. So I'm definitely, glad and just feeling good to be in this position, to be honest with you. So, yeah.
He's not going to talk about it, but what do you think fans in Chicago are thinking right now, seeing Justin Fields at 3-0 and seeing their offense just muttering around with Caleb Williams? And another guy in the game today, he ended up getting hurt, was Joe Alt for the Chargers. Is the kind of guy that they could have picked. They could have kept Fields, could have grabbed someone like Joe Alt, a great offensive tackle who's been awesome through 3 weeks. I mean, TJ Watt got that 1 sack, but I mean, he pretty much held him. Other than that, he was getting help, obviously, but he's through 3 weeks. Joe Alt looks like a great, almost Pro Bowl offensive tackle.
Yeah.
They could have had Justin Fields in the backfield. They could have had another pick in that. They still could have got a receiver. They could have got a tight end, whoever they wanted with the 9th overall pick. So as a Chicago Bear fan, how do you think you're feeling right now?
Yeah, they're probably thinking they made a mistake right now, and they're looking at Fields like, wow, I mean, he's actually – a decent quarterback and able to make plays. And, I like, how he's talking right now, just taking, some of the responsibility of the mistakes that he made, and that he's going to, do what he can to try to fix that. But yeah, they definitely could have kept him and picked up some other weapons and O-line pickups as well. But they didn't. They let him go. It seemed like they didn't want him. They didn't think that he was a talented quarterback enough for them. And, they're probably kicking themselves in the butt right now thinking like, wow, maybe we made a mistake. I mean, maybe it was our O-line that was the problem and not Justin Fields, and just seeing him with a little bit of a better offensive line right now, he's able to have some time in the backfield and able to make some plays and throws and things like that. And so I think, yeah, Chicago Bears are probably thinking, maybe we made a little mistake. We'll just have to see how the season goes, but he's looking – he's through 3 weeks. He's done what he needed to do to help us get wins. And I think, like we talked about earlier, there's going to be some growth we'll see with him and a lot more improvement. And, hopefully those that dam will break and we'll get to see how this offense really explodes as the season goes on.
Yeah. And you made a good point that he for that interception, he didn't come, we got a tip ball or anything like that. He said, if I didn't throw that interception, that was a good thing to catch there. I thought that was good from him. Just for factual sake, I guess, the Bears are 1-2. I don't know if I said 0-3. I don't think I said a record, but they are 1-2. Caleb Williams today, he had 363 yards passing, and 2 touchdowns, but he did have 2 interceptions, got sacked 4 times, and then also had a fumble that he lost. So 3 turnovers from him, but 363 yards passing is pretty impressive for a rookie guy. So I should give him some credit there, other than completely burying what he's done so far this season. And their other rookie, Rome Aduze, ended up with 6 catches for 112 yards and a touchdown. So they did get some production from those guys today. Not the win though, and only 16 total points. So not perfect for them there either. But I should give them a little bit of credit for today, just in case anyone has other opinions there. But let's get a little bit more from Justin. I don't know if we're going to listen to the next 5 minutes from him, but get something going.
About improving. Your 3 last drives were long drive for the field goal, long drive for touchdown, then run the clock out. What do you feel like you improved on as this game went on, and how did you make some adjustments to finish strong like you did?
Yeah, the first half we didn't run the ball like we wanted to. So second half, especially late in the game when we had to run the ball, the running backs and O-line did a great job. Even in situations where we knew we had to run the ball, they did a great job executing. Naj and CP, they were hitting the hole great, and we were getting first downs after first down. So anytime you can get that run game going, and just helps us out overall. So
good does it feel for the offense to put together a performance like this against such a good defense like the Chargers?
Yeah, it feels great. We kind of knew what we were up against, 2 great edge rushers, and I think they were ranked #1 defense in the NFL coming into this thing. So we knew we had a big test in front of us, but we have a pretty good defense that we go up against every day as well. So just going up against those guys on the other side of the ball on our team just kind of prepared us for this moment. And like I said, everybody came out, executed, and we put points up on the board. So it felt great.
Also, do those line drives make you more confident in the sense that the longer their defense stayed on the field, you could open up some more pathways to run as well as play action.
Yeah, nah, for sure.
Just before he goes into his answer, that's what he was trying to ask Tomlin about. He's coming back to hope Justin will save him.
Yeah.
You know, anytime you can stay on the field as long as possible, definitely tires them out. I think it was second quarter, maybe before the 2-minute warning. They were glad that we actually didn't run a play because, you know, they were so tired. Linebacker kind of made a joke over to us. It was like, appreciate y'all because they were so tired. But anytime you can, you know, keep their defense on the field for a long time with the run game and with the play action pass, like you said, and have our defense on the sideline resting, that's a positive for sure.
Did that guy get his vindication? Do you think he got his vindication? What do you think? Whose side are you on, his or Tomlin?
I think he gave a little bit. I don't think he gave enough, but I think the guy got a little bit of an answer. You know, I just don't think that Fields is ready to kind of say that he's, you know, that confident yet. I think he's still waiting, you know, just, you know, to have a nice little breakout game to say that he feels confident enough. But I think he got a sneak peek. I think is what the guy got today.
Yeah, I think Tomlin was more willing to give the answer, the straight answer, and Fields was more of a politically correct answer from him there. But it was a fun little couple of questions. Let's go one more question here and figure it out, end this out.
It's the first time in your career that you've won 3 consecutive games in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
What does that mean to you, and what kind of momentum do you feel like you have through the first 3 weeks of the season?
It means a lot, but at the end of the day, it's not just me winning games; it's the whole team. So I'm just happy to be a part of this team, happy to be a part of this organization, and we definitely look forward to keeping it going next week versus Indy.
Okay,
he's very humble. Very humble.
Next week against Indy, if you're a cynic like me, you can say that, and you think everyone's sneaky. You can argue that he was saying that because he wanted to say that those losses in Chicago weren't his fault either. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt on that answer there. Going to the teammates and saying how good the teammates we've been playing. But he mentioned there next week, Pittsburgh Steelers got the Colts coming in. The Colts played Chicago this week. Ironic enough, I guess you can say. And they ended up getting a victory 21-16. I don't know if you have any opening thoughts for that game, or we want to wait till we do our regularly scheduled podcast this week. What are you thinking? Anything on the Colts game?
I just think it's going to be. I think I think you made a comment earlier. Our revenge tour is still kind of going on, so I just think that's kind of what it is right now. So we didn't play well against them last year. So got a little bit of a rematch in Indianapolis again, and I think that was the game last year that kind of. Maybe put the antennas up on Mike Tomlin and had them, turn some things around and make some of the changes that they've made over this offseason for now, because I think that was the game that actually did it. So I think that this is just going to be a nice little I think the revenge tour is still going on, and I think that, we could talk more next week about that Colts game. So just a little sneak peek right there.
Yeah, Anthony Richardson, their quarterback, hasn't had a great start to the season. So it'll be another game where the defense can probably come in here and perform well, I hope. Right now I'm looking at the scores. The Ravens are up 21-6 on the Cowboys. The second half just started pretty much. There's 13:55 left. So it looks like the Ravens are going to end up being 1-2. We talked about the Browns losing today to fall to 1-2. And then Bengals on Monday. So like we were talking, Steelers got themselves in a great spot.
Yeah.
I think that the offense is starting to play well. Maybe that dam is starting to show some cracks.
Yeah.
But I don't have too much more to say about this win. It was a good win, a strong win, a win that I thought they wouldn't have this week. I predicted a loss. I was wrong. Lee, you were right. So I'll give you the final word on the Steeler game and anything else you want to talk.
Yeah, a great game, great offensive game, great defensive game, for the Steelers. I had them winning this game, as well as a couple more as we go on through the season. And I think that if they can continue to play like this and improve with more yards offensively, making some more plays and, having a defense, play how they're playing, I think they're going to be very well, a very well, oiled team as they go on through the rest of this season in the NFL. So I'm excited to see what they have planned next. I think it's going to be a great game next week, but we'll continue more with that on our regular podcast show.
Yep, and then we'll be back on next Sunday around 5:30 for the post game show. And I'll see you next week.
See you then.